If you're following the Michelle Troconis trial, then you know that there's a lot of data, a lot of movement, and it can be a little bit confusing. So I made a quick video to help understand the movement of all the cars and the phones and all of the data on the day of Jennifer Dulos' disappearance. The afternoon before Jennifer disappears is actually where we're going to start. We can see Pavel pulls into the house at 4 Jefferson Crossing at 4:51 driving the Raptor. He follows Fotis, who is driving the Tacoma, to the workhouse on Mountain Spring Road to drop the Tacoma off. They leave the Tacoma at the workhouse, and Pavel takes Fotis and drops him off before heading home. This is also about the time that Michelle said that people arrived to their home for dinner. Only 10 minutes later, Kent Mulvaney's phone pings on the tower near Fotis' house. Another 10 minutes after that, Fotis calls Kent as he's leaving in the Suburban and he goes to the workhouse. He's there for about 7 minutes before leaving. Now, this would be the time that Michelle said that he left to go get more meat for their dinner that night. Data shows that Fotis had his alarm set for 4:20 a.m. and he turned it off at 4:21 a.m. There was also some health data on his phone that shows that he took some steps and he was active at different parts around this time. Now, there's no car that shows leaving or pulling into the workhouse. There's no video of that. So the theory is that he could have ridden his bike from the house to the workhouse and put it in the Tacoma. He's seen leaving the workhouse in the truck at 5:35 a.m. The Tacoma is caught on video at multiple times going south toward New Canaan. Meanwhile, Michelle's alarm goes off at 6:40 and she gets Nicole ready for school. Police believe that Fotis parked the Tacoma at Waveney Park. It is seen on camera. The space where it was parked was empty at 7:05. It was caught on camera in that space at 7:40 and 7:57, so we know that it was parked sometime after 7:05. Now at 7:31, there's video on Weed Street, which is where they believe Fotis rode up Weed Street and around to Jennifer's house. And there is video from multiple different angles of a guy on a bike, and it fits with the description of Fotis and Fotis's bike. Jennifer Dulos drops her children off at school around 8 and returns back about 8:05. At this point, they believe that Fotis is already at the house waiting on her. They believe that Fotis kills her, places her body and the bike in her Suburban, attempts to clean up to prevent any evidence, clean up some of the blood, and then he leaves in her Suburban to go back to Waveney Park. Now, also at this time, Kent's phone location shows that he is at Fotis's home/office. There's also a phone call that's placed to Fotis's phone that morning at 8:24. It's from a friend in Greece. It was a pre-planned call and it lasts for 17 seconds. And this is the only call all morning that is actually answered. And there are no other text messages that are read. There's nothing like that. So the story is, according to the state, that Fotis left his phone at home and arranged for this call to come in and to be answered to basically have an alibi for him to explain where he was during the time that Jennifer was killed. The Suburban arrives back at Waveney Park. They believe that Fotis removes Jennifer's body. He leaves the Suburban in reverse with the running lights on and loads Jennifer as well as his bike in the Tacoma and heads back toward home. The Tacoma is seen on multiple cameras heading back north toward home, and it's seen pulling into the workhouse on Mountain Spring Road at 12:22 p.m. Now, meanwhile, Jennifer's friend and longtime nanny arrives to the house about 11:30. She notices that the Suburban is missing, and she knows that the paper towels are missing, Jennifer's purse, some things are off, etc. That happens at 11:30. There's no video footage of Fotis leaving the workhouse once he arrives at 12:22, but there is footage of Michelle driving the Jeep and Fotis driving the Suburban about an hour and 10 minutes later. They leave the house and they go to the workhouse. Now, Michelle did say that she heard Fotis calling her from downstairs and they had lunch together, but I'm assuming that the theory would be here again, maybe that either somebody picked him up or that he rode the bike from the workhouse to the house, and that's how he got there and then was able to drive the Suburban there. Now, the only thing about that is that Michelle also said in her interview that the bike was in the garage at the workhouse. So I'm not really sure how they're going to clear up this part of it. Minutes after they arrive at the workhouse, Michelle leaves in the Jeep to go back to the house. 12 minutes later, Fotis calls Michelle, and then minutes after that, she drives back to the workhouse again. Michelle stays at the workhouse for about 25 minutes, and then she leaves to go home again. Now, at this time, there is no smoke coming from the chimney. Around half an hour after arriving home, smoke is seen coming from the chimney at 2:56, and then it's gone at 3:12. 13 minutes pass, and smoke is seen again. She is home during this time for just under an hour and a half. So, after that hour and a half and multiple fires in the fireplace, Michelle returns in the Jeep to the workhouse again about 3:53. So, Michelle arrives to the workhouse again, and she arrives at 3:56. She calls Fotis at 3:57, and then at 3:58, she is getting into the Suburban because her Bluetooth on the Suburban connects to her phone. So a few minutes later, she pulls out. Now, she's only at the workhouse for about 7 minutes. This is also around the time that Fotis's phone location changes. So his phone is presumably in the Suburban with her when she goes back to the house. So Michelle arrives home, and within minutes, she sends that weird group text that says, "Now I'm naked," with the winky face. And then she leaves the house. Now, Fotis's phone at this time is left at the house, and Michelle returns to the workhouse in the Suburban. So it almost seems like maybe she just went to drop his phone off or to grab something else, but she would have had to have taken his phone inside and left it. So maybe the "now I'm naked" thing is code for something, but she goes right back to the workhouse again. About half an hour later, Pavel pulls into the workhouse. Now, at this point, he's called Fotis and he's not answering, of course, because he doesn't have his phone. And he went by the house/four group office. And of course, Fotis and Michelle weren't there. So he pulls into the workhouse at 80 Mountain Springs and he finds Fotis and Michelle there. So all three of them leave in the cars that they are driving. Pavel takes the Raptor, Michelle takes the Jeep, and Fotis takes the Suburban, and they all go to 4 Jefferson Crossing. So Michelle is at the house in the Jeep. Fotis drops the Suburban off and then jumps in the truck with Pavel, and they head back to the workhouse. Now, when they get back, Pavel notices that his keys that were in the door of his Tacoma are now gone. So now Fotis has to call Michelle to bring them back because Pavel does not want to take him up on his offer to just take the Raptor for the weekend. So Michelle jumps in the Suburban and brings the keys to Pavel. Michelle then returns home in the Suburban. Pavel takes the Tacoma to Deer Cliff so that he can get the board for the ramp for his dirt bike to take home, and Fotis takes the Raptor home. At 5:57, Pavel is seen with the dirt bike in the back of his truck and the wood board that he used as the ramp in the Tacoma heading toward his home. Now, at this point, there is again no smoke in the chimney at this time. So, an hour and 10 minutes after arriving home, smoke is seen coming from the fireplace again on 3 separate occasions within 20 minutes of each other. The last smoke video is seen at 7:02 p.m. Now, it's not long after that at 7:10 when the first data point is seen on Albany Avenue as Fotis and Michelle in the Raptor are doing La Tour de trash cans. Now, at 8:12, Fotis and Michelle pull back into the house and they are seen stopping in the driveway. If you are a visual learner like I am and this helped you at all, then please feel free to share it. And you can find more of my stuff on youtube.com/@BrandiChurchwell. Thank you.